28 weeks ago, the rule is game. I'm the boss, yeah, I'll take fame with my fantasy team. Gonna rise to the top, no one can stop me. Gonna make 'em drop.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to 38 Weeks Ago, your weekly podcast about fantasy football. The international break is done, which means it is time for Gameweek 12. Now, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is there's not another international break until March. The bad news is you have to live with the consequences of your decisions after this. There will be no more excuses. We had already gone over the results of the previous game week. So now we're just going to look forward to this game week. Every international break so far has seen just massive disappointment. Players do not play, teams come back rusty, one of the big teams disappoints. If you remember first time round, Liverpool were beaten 1-0. Second international break, Arsenal were beaten. Maybe it's time for Man City to be beaten. Who knows? But it seems like nothing goes as expected. So since we've tried to be logical in the first two international breaks, let's do the opposite. Work against your better judgment. If you believe in Haaland this week, go for somebody else. If you believe in Salah this week, go for somebody else. Just be different within yourself. I think that if you have a wild card left for this half of the year, please use it. This would be the best time. If not now, then just make sure you use it before December 21. It expires very quickly. Now, the most important thing to remember is that for those players coming in from South America and just outside Europe in general, they tend to have jet lag or something that affects their performance, and the managers tend to play them in a limited role. So just look at your squad, see where your players have played, and think twice about where you want to have them play. Let's go over the injury list. For Arsenal, Tierney is out, Calafiori is still out, Tomiyasu, Declan Rice, Saka, and Trossard are doubtful. Benjamin White is out. For Aston Villa, Barkley, Matikash, Madsen, Konsa are doubtful. Pau Torres and Ramsey are injured. For Bournemouth, Alex Scott, Sinistera, Ouattara, and Semenyo are out. For Brentford, Rico Henry, Hickey, De Silva, Thiago, Nunes, Ayer are out. Mbomo and Misa are doubtful. For Brighton, Solimarch is out. Mente, Kadioglu, Luis Dunk, Henshawood, Baleba are out. Milner has a knock. For Chelsea, Kellyman is injured. Sanchez injured while he's sick. Palmer is doubtful along with Colwill, Gusto, and Fofana is injured. For Crystal Palace, Riyad is out. Franca is out. Lema is doubtful. Eze is still out. Watson is out. Nketiah is out. Chibueze is out. For Everton, Chamiti, Broja, Irobunam, Ghana, and Seamus Coleman are out. Dwight McNeil and Branthwaite are doubtful. For Fulham, only Sasa Lukic is out. For Ipswich, Jack Taylor, Jacob Greaves, Wes Byrne, Broadhead, and Ogbene are out. For Leicester, Daka, Stolarik, Chaudhry, Dikodover-Reid, and Pereira are out. For Liverpool, Becker is doubtful, so he's probably going to play. Jota, Trent, and Chiesa are doubtful. Harvey Elliott is out. For Manchester City, Bob, Rodri, Ruben Diaz, John Stones are out. Grealish, Akanji, Ake, Doku, Foden, O'Reilly, Simpson Kusi are doubtful. For Manchester United, Malacia is doubtful. Euro is out. Mine is out. Maguire has a knock. Luke Shaw still out. Casemiro and Martinez are doubtful. Botman for Newcastle is out along with Lascelles, Callum Wilson, Trippier, and Kraft. For Forest, Danilo, Sangare, and Elliot Anderson are out. For Southampton, Bazunu, Stewart, Smallbone, Fraser, and Ramsdale are out. Odober, Mickey van de Ven, Richarlison, Mickey Moore are injured for Spurs. while Sarr is doubtful. For West Ham, Fulkrug is out. For Wolves, Enzo Gonzalez, Traore, Kalatsic, Mosquera, and Hwang Hee-chan are out. So, as you've heard, it's quite a comprehensive injury list. Be careful with your choices, especially with the doubtful ones. They may or may not play. The first game of the weekend sees Chelsea take on Leicester. Buonanotte will be suspended for this game. Last time out, Leicester were hammered 3-0 by Manchester United in the farewell game for Ruud van Nistelrooy. They'll be looking to do better. And in order to do that, they will need a great performance from their keeper, Hamilton. And I guess with Verdi out, you will be depending on Fatawu and Ayew. It's actually quite tough for them right now. Last time out, Chelsea drew 1-1 with Arsenal. And so they will be looking to do better this time out. This is much easier opposition. Jackson, Palmer, and Neto are the 3 players I'd recommend from this team. And if those 3 are not the ones you have, you could also gamble on their goalkeeper. This could be a game that Chelsea could keep a clean sheet. Bournemouth versus Brighton. Their last 5 games has 3 wins for Brighton, 2 wins for Bournemouth. In their most recent encounter, Bournemouth went and beat them 3-0, with Senesi, Unal, and Kluivert leading the way. Semenyo is out for this fixture, or at the very least, he is doubtful. Christie is suspended for Bournemouth. Bournemouth were beaten last time by Brentford, 2 teams in good form. So for this time, I would recommend Evan Nilsson, Kluivert, and Cook. Brighton beat Manchester City last time out, so they will be buoyed. They'll be so happy. And for this game, I guess Welbeck is still the man in form. You have Mr. Jorginho Rota and maybe João Pedro. Those would be the top 3 I would recommend from this team. I don't believe there will be a clean sheet in this game, so stay away from the defenders. Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest sees number 4 take on number 5. Arsenal, of course, have the better record, better head-to-head, and will be looking to pick up. They have not been in great form of late. Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli are the 3 top players I would recommend. Of course, there's Odegaard, but I'm not sure how back he is yet. For Nottingham Forest, you have Wood, who has been their leader so far. He's been doing well. After that, you have Elanga, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I don't think this is a kind of game to depend on the Nottingham Forest defense, so I wouldn't encourage any defenders from them. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Both teams have not been in great form, so in theory, both teams could get something out of this result. But I believe Aston Villa have the edge. In their recent 5 fixtures, Crystal Palace have won 3 and Aston Villa have won 1. Crystal Palace seemed to be doing okay until they got the red card in the last game. And so in this game, I think if you're going to get their players, you really have to look at Mateta, Sarr, and that's about it. I can't imagine getting more than 1 Crystal Palace player right now. Last time out, Aston Villa were beaten by Liverpool, and they could have done better, but they didn't. Watkins, Rogers, and Bailey are the best options from this team. This could be the game to have an Aston Villa defender. Digne or Martinez would be good. Everton versus Brentford. Now, this one really only depends on whether Wissa and Bumo have recovered well from their knocks. If they have, those are the first 2 players I'd recommend, and Damsgaard. On the Everton end, if you've been holding on to Michael Keane, he might be back this time since Branthwaite is a bit doubtful. So him or Mikolenko or your preferred defender would be fine. Pickford has been doing well, so it might be time for him. But Brentford have been scoring of late. So on the other end, if McNeil is back, he's good. Otherwise, Ndiaye and Doucouré, it's really hard to recommend DCL at this point. He just looks threatening but doesn't actually threaten. In the recent 5 matches, Everton have won 3, Brentford have won 1 and drawn 1. So Everton have the better record in this game. But on recent form, it's still Brentford. Fulham versus Wolves. Earlier on, I had spoken about how Wolves have winnable games, and this is another winnable game. They have been doing much better since their tough start ended. For them, you really have Cunha, Strand Larsen, Ait Nouri, and Sarabia, I guess. For Fulham, you have Emil Smith-Rowe, who has really been doing well of late, Harry Wilson, who comes on to devastating effect, and Raul Jimenez, who gets a goal contribution. Outside that, maybe Iwobi, and of course Robinson at the back. Their recent 5 fixtures sees Wolves win 2 times, draw 2 times, and lose once. So I would say Wolves are slight favourites in this fixture. There's only been 1 goalless draw in this fixture. Man City versus Tottenham. This could be the disappointment of the weekend. The truth of the matter is Mr. Postecoglou is under pressure, and Pep is under pressure, but not in the same way. They've lost 4 in a row, first time in his career, and the first time since 2006 for Man City. Tottenham can beat anybody on their day, but they can also be beaten by anybody on their day. So this game could really go either way. If you told me Tottenham will win this game, I can believe it. I can see it. If you told me Man City will lose this game, I can see it as well. Bentancur is suspended for this game for 7 matches for some racial slurs that he said. Manchester City have so many players who are unavailable, and especially on the width, those who provide width, like Grealish and Doku. So it means that somebody like Bernardo Silva will have to play. Haaland, of course, is going to play. He had a great international break. And KDB and Foden, if he's available from his knock. Those would be the greatest players from the Man City side. Both teams lost last time out. Brighton beat City and Ipswich beat Tottenham. Tottenham were beaten by Ipswich and Crystal Palace. If they play like that, they will be hammered by Man City. But then also Man City are not great right now. So this is a perfect game for both of these teams. Son, Solanke, Johnson, Kulusevski are the best bets from Tottenham. Tottenham seem to only have the edge over Man City when they play at home. This game is at the Etihad Stadium, so no such thing will be happening. On Sunday, Southampton will take on Liverpool. Southampton have been better of late, but Liverpool might be a step too far for them. It would be truly incredible if they would beat them, but the odds are very low. The real question in this fixture is, who will be your captain? Will it be Salah, Nunez, or Diaz? Those are the best players from Liverpool right now. The only problem with Diaz in particular is that he will play one game, sit another, start from the bench. So Salah is the best bet. He has been Liverpool's greatest player this season. He has contributed 67% of their goals this season. On the Southampton end, I do not understand why he would be coming into this game. Alisson should be back in this fixture, but anyway. Let's see. Archer, Aribo, and Armstrong are your best bets from Southampton right now. But also, don't get into Southampton right now. Ipswich versus Man United. Ipswich beat Spurs last time out. They had been threatening to win a game and they finally did it. They're the last team to finally win a game this season. Manchester United have a new manager in Ruben Amorim. This will be his first game in charge. It is not clear what he will do. There's a lot of speculation about his tactics, and I am sure that there will be players who will perform better under him and there'll be players who will perform worse under him. Who those players are, I don't know, because it's very hard to underperform what happened under Ten Hag. I would say Onana, Garnacho, and Fernandes are your best bets from Manchester United, but I'm guessing. It's not clear who he will like right now. But that's pretty safe if you ask me. If I was to recommend 3 players from Ipswich, I would start with Delap, and then Smotsic, and Omari Hutchinson. I wouldn't really get into the defense right now, but yeah, that's how I see this game unfolding. Those are the top picks from both teams. The last game of Gameweek 12 will see Newcastle take on West Ham. Isak has been on great form and he is by far the first and best player to take from Newcastle, followed by Gordon, and you could choose your defender of choice. Either Livramento or Lewis Hall, or maybe even Schär. Newcastle ended Nottingham Forest's run with Isak, Joelinton, and Barnes scoring. Isak has been in great form, so he's the best player. You could try your luck with the other two as well. The recent head-to-head is quite interesting. You have 3 draws and then Newcastle totally beating West Ham. So listen to this. Newcastle 4-3, then 2-2, Newcastle 5-1, and then 1-1, 1-1. So if Newcastle win, it'll be a hammering. There'll be goals aplenty. There's no goalless draw in their last 5 fixtures, so do not disregard what I said about the defenders. But also West Ham have been so poor. Last time out, they drew with Everton 0-0. If you're getting into West Ham, I would say Owen, Suchek, and Paqueta are your best bets. Kudus is still suspended, so don't bring him in just yet. I am honestly just waiting to see how long West Ham will last with the man I do not like. Lopetegui's days are numbered. When it comes to choosing a captain, I believe this is a kind of game week where it'll be split. Of course, there'll be those who will just go Haaland no matter what. But if you're not one of those people, I can see a strong case for Palmer versus Leicester or Nicholas Jackson versus Leicester. In the Forest game, Saka could be a good captain choice. In the Villa Crystal Palace, Watkins, this could be his time to come back. He won't be a popular captain, that's for sure. Bournemouth versus Brighton, I don't see people running to a captain there. Everton versus Brentford, I could see people gambling on Mbomo. Wolves versus Fulham, you'd really be gambling. Man City versus Spurs, I wouldn't be surprised if people captain Haaland, like I said. Also, Son could be an unlikely captain, but still a captain. Because if anything good's going to come out of that game, he will be involved. Liverpool, Southampton, easy reach. I can see Salah being the top captain this weekend. So if they do not win, that would be the biggest disappointment this weekend. Man United, Ipswich, there's a captain here. Fernandes has been in good form, but I was under Rude and not Ten Hag. So that we're talking about 3-4 games. I don't know. It would be a gamble. It is possible. Gyökeres performed well under Amorim, so maybe he will bring something out of Zexi or Haaland. So just don't gamble there. Newcastle, West Ham, Isak is also another great captain choice. When it comes to looking at the next 5 fixtures, Arsenal have Forest, West Ham, Man United, Fulham, and Everton. So given Forest form, it'll be a tricky game. West Ham will be easy. Man United will be tricky. Fulham have been in good form. So you can see that games are not obvious. Aston Villa have Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Brentford, Southampton, Forest. Chelsea will be their most difficult game in this one, so it might be time to sort of look into their players. Bournemouth have Brighton, Wolves, Tottenham, Ipswich, and West Ham. Bournemouth can beat anybody on their day, so it's very hard to bet against them. I would only say it would depend on availability of players, but Brighton will be tricky, Tottenham will be tricky, but I could see them beating Wolves, Ipswich, and West Ham. Brentford have Everton, Leicester, Villa, Newcastle, Chelsea. So the next 2 games will be winnable. Aston Villa will be competitive. Newcastle could go either way, and I believe they'll be beaten by Chelsea. So milk the Mbumo Wisa train while it's still running. Brighton have Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, Leicester, Crystal Palace. This is the right time to get into Brighton players. They have winnable fixtures. They beat Man City, who can't really beat. Chelsea have Leicester, Villa, Southampton, Tottenham, Brentford. These are great fixtures for Chelsea as well. Outside Spurs, all the rest are winnable. Crystal Palace have Villa, Newcastle, Ipswich, City, and Brighton. At this point, I'm not sure if they'll escape relegation. These are very difficult fixtures for them. They'll do well to come out with 5 points in the next 5 games. Everton have Brentford, Man United, Wolves, Liverpool, Arsenal. So they really need to take advantage of the fixtures they have against Wolves and Brentford. Otherwise, they might come out with nothing in the next 5 games. Fulham have Wolves, Tottenham, Brighton, Arsenal, and Liverpool. So, as you can tell, their fixtures are going to become increasingly difficult. I would wean myself off Fulham defenders if I had them. Ipswich have Man United, Forest, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Wolves. Outside, let's say Man United, The rest of the games are free for all. They could beat either of those teams or they could be beaten. We just don't know. After the Southampton game, Liverpool have City, Newcastle, Everton, and Fulham. So City, Newcastle will be tests for them. Apart from that, they should win the other three. Man City are reaching the peak, or rather approaching the peak of their steady climb to defeats, as it seems. They have Tottenham, Liverpool, Forest, Crystal Palace, Man United. So the next two games will be very difficult and then they will ease a bit. We have lost 4 in a row, so who knows? Manchester United have Ipswich, Everton, Arsenal, Forest, and Man City. Hiring him during the international break was great, like I'd said previously. Now it's just about time. I guess the rest of the season is pretty much a write-off. No one's expecting much from him. It'll just be about whether he can get his ideas and how quickly his players will absorb the ideas he's trying to sell them. So with Manchester United, it's really wait and see. The next games could be easy or hard. I don't know. It really depends on how they react to him. But since managers seem to have a new manager bounce, Ipswich, Everton, Arsenal could be great games for them. Newcastle have West Ham, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Brentford, and Leicester. Outside the Liverpool game, these are very winnable games for Newcastle, and I'd encourage you to start looking into their assets, be it Mr. Isak or Gordon or one of the defenders. Nottingham Forest are having Arsenal, Ipswich City, Man United, and Aston Villa. So this might be the great humbling. If they're able to maneuver themselves through this period with, let's say, even 6 to 7 points, then that will be very respectable. Because as it stands, I can't see them getting more than 3. Southampton have Liverpool, Brighton, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Tottenham. That is the toughest run of 5 fixtures of any team, given who they have versus their opposition. Stay away from their players. Spurs have City, Fulham, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Southampton. Spurs are so weird. They could win all of these games and they could lose all of these games. I just don't know where to go. West Ham have Newcastle, Arsenal, Leicester, Wolves, and Bournemouth. They've been in poor form. Newcastle and Arsenal will be tough opposition. And honestly, if he's not sacked by the end of these 5 games, I'll be surprised because it'll either mean they're just really going to give him a chance or that he's done something in these 5 fixtures. But I don't see it. Wolves have Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, and Ipswich. These are all winnable games. Ait Nouri, Cunha, Strand Larsen are their best picks. Pick them. There is a team that has been suggested as a team which would have gotten the most points if it had been left untouched up until now. So if you're using your wildcard, let me just name these players so that you could just consider them. So in goal, you have Onana. In defense, you have Aina, Van Dijk, and Vardiol. Midfield, Emil Smith-Rowe, Mbomo, Palmer, Salah. And in the striking position, you have Haaland, Wood, and Welbeck. Now, if I was to make a change from this team, I would remove Aina and bring in Ait Nouri because of their fixtures. I would also try to find a way to put in Mr. Isak instead of Wood. And then outside that, I'd keep that team the same if I was to use my wildcard. So in case you have a wildcard and you think of using it, that is a template team. Apart from that, I hope the international break has been treating you well. See you on the pitch. Bye.